Hey there, Capricorn, and welcome to your March 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anybody who is working on their creativity, their personal growth, or their spiritual connection in any way. So if that area of life in general is interesting to you, I encourage you to go ahead and keep listening. I want to also really quickly say that you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign. It's also possible if sometimes they don't resonate, or they may not resonate at first, but if you come back to this video out of curiosity at the end of the month, you may find some really interesting correlations. So I encourage you to do that. And let's get into it. So for you, Capricorn, I had a really powerful impression. It was almost like an experience that I was given as I was in meditation, where I was being given this really strong feeling of being on a large plane, okay? And feeling almost the hum of the engine and seeing like sunset outside of the window and just feeling this really gradual, very calm sense of the plane kind of starting to descend and is about to land. And I just feel this really powerful almost voice in me saying like we're landing this plane, we're landing this plane. And again, this is very it was very vivid. It was particularly vivid for you, Capricorn. So the way that I would break this down is just that I feel that in March there are potentially some either conclusions that you are coming to or situations in your life that you personally are sort of guiding to a conclusion. And you're in that process, you're trusting your own faculty, your own ambition maybe in the past, your work in the past, your efforts in the past. You're also trusting yourself to facilitate the conclusion of something, which is an ending maybe to something that has had some kind of element of risk to it or some element of sacrifice. And I feel that this energy it was profoundly peaceful, and it also felt profoundly strong. You feel so strong this month, Capricorn. You feel like a freaking, pilot guiding your plane. And you know that everything is going smoothly. You know that you've done everything that you needed to. And now it's like this time for you to guide a process to its conclusion. And I feel that this is a real position of strength that you're in this month, where you actually can accomplish the things that you are trying to accomplish, or you're able to sort of rope in a win for yourself in some way. And it's going to be through your own efforts. It's going to be through you relying on yourself and relying on your inner resources as well as also your outer resources. So the work that you do is going to be rewarded in March. So let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more insight into how this energy could play out in practical terms. Okay, I'm using the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. And there's a link in the description, the Show More box, if you want to take a look at this deck. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look here. We've got Butterfly as your path and the Gazelle as the influence. Interesting. So beautiful. I love these cards together, and I also feel like there's some specific messages coming through for you here related to your astrology as well, Capricorn. So one thing that strikes me right away is that both of these cards have kind of a feminine feel to them. Of course, they are neutral energies, but there's something about them that feels like there's a powerful feminine aspect coming through. So first of all, with the butterfly as your path, it shows that you are going through a radical personal shift. And I feel that this is something that has been building within you for quite a while. And I feel like as you enter into this new chapter, a lot of what it represents for you is really kind of expanding your sense of what you're capable of. Just like a caterpillar going from being a caterpillar to being a butterfly, there's a great deal of new capacity that this creature has, whereas before it was limited to only being able to sort of crawl on like tree limbs or the ground or wherever it was. It's like very, very close to the earth. Now this creature, after having undergone this transformation, is able to actually be a creature of flight, which is also really profound given that your meditation contained a very strong symbolism of flight and a sense of being able to guide a journey that is really, risky in a lot of ways. Like before people had ever flown in planes, before airplanes were more than just, a concept, I think for a lot of people it seemed really unnatural. And nowadays we're so used to using planes to go places that we don't really stop and think what that must have been like what that shift would have been like for somebody who was part of the generation that went from, humans flying is like only happening in mythology to, wow, actually some people actually flew in a plane and they were able to get somewhere safely. That's a really, really radical shift that brings with it a lot of fears. It's a paradigm shifter. The whole idea and concept of what's possible changed in that moment that there was the first flight, And so with the butterfly card, I feel like you are going through your own sort of demonstration of that in your own life, Capricorn. You are stepping into a very radical new chapter of your life that requires a total shift in your paradigm. It requires you to rewrite the rules for yourself and to recognize that you're capable of way more than you thought. And at the same time, you're also having to say goodbye to, the way that you used to do things, because you have to make room for like the new path that's opening up. So with the gazelle crossing you, I look at the crossing card as sometimes like an obstacle, other times it feels like an influence. And for you, this feels very much like an influence because we have the gazelle energy, which is a very feminine, earthy energy. It's also very elegant. And immediately what comes to mind is actually that Venus is in the sign of Taurus in March. So Venus is the lesser benefic. Venus represents beauty, good fortune, blessings, abundance, prosperity, health. There's a lot of really yummy, delicious things that Venus represents, and also very feminine energy as well. And so when Venus is in her own sign, in Taurus, feeling amazing, she's casting a trine aspect to everything that you have in Capricorn. So this is a very earthy, feminine, positive energy that is uplifting to you. It's kind of like the phrase that comes to mind is like a rising tide lifts all ships. You and the other Capricorns and the other earth signs are sort of on that rising tide from Venus being in Taurus, casting, beneficial energy to both the Virgos and the Capricorns as well as the Taurians. So you guys are on a roll with this. You're going to be feeling a certain buoyancy when it comes to social interactions with Venus trining anything that you have in Capricorn. You're going to be feeling uplifted when it comes to like how you present yourself in the world. You're going to feel like it's easier to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And also your energy is going to come off kind of elegant, I want to say. Whether you're male or female Capricorn, whether you are a blue collar worker or a freaking like party decorator or party designer or something like that. It doesn't matter. Like across the entire spectrum, you are manifesting, like your appearance, your sense of self, how you communicate, you're manifesting charisma this month. But it's a natural and genuine charisma with the Gazelle card. I also feel that there is this sense with these cards, because the butterfly represents such a transformation of such magnitude, right, that it also kind of shows the delicateness and the fragility of this chapter in your life, because both of these creatures have sort of a delicateness to them. So I want you to be really gentle on yourself, primarily Capricorn, this month. I want you to be really gentle and yielding to your body's needs. I want you to take care of yourself, get some maybe exercise, but don't like overdo it. Just do the right amount and do something maybe that also kind of is like, I want to say something where you can stretch or where you can relieve maybe mental stress at the same time as you are exercising, maybe lightly, or focusing more on flexibility with the Gazelle card. Butterfly could also, I could see like dancing being a really healthy thing for you. Feeling light on your feet, basically, and feeling lighthearted is a major theme this month. You may feel more sensitive to like outside energies, so just be aware of that and do whatever you have to do to kind of nurture yourself and bring yourself back to your own energy, especially if you have to do things socially, if you own a brick and mortar business, basically, and you have like a lot of people coming through, or if you work at a company and you have to talk to a lot of people in person or on the phone. This is an important time to kind of nurture and replenish your introverted self as well, because all Capricorns, in my opinion, do definitely have an introverted side for sure. So you want to just find ways to nourish that side of yourself and get that time and space to yourself that you'll really enjoy, but also find a good balance with making use of that really yummy, positive Venusian wave that's coming your way, where you are going to be more charismatic, you are going to be more uplifting to others, and so you want to also use that as well. Let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more insight. So wow, we have 3 of Swords with the Hierophant. We've got Page of Wands and the 5 of Swords. We've got 10 of Wands and the 7 of Cups. And we've got 7 of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Wow, interesting. Okay, so what's coming through in this reading already, like a lot is firing off in my intuitive like mind here. So the first thing that's coming to mind, Capricorn, is that some of you could be breaking from a mentor this month. You could be separating yourself somehow from somebody who has like supported you and helped you along your journey, and that might be a little bit sad for you. And because that's the first card that's showing up in the spread, I think it's very possible that this is already something that's going on for you, Capricorn. Like this may be something that is going on in February or has happened since the beginning of the year, because this just feels familiar to me. It doesn't feel like a shock, but it does feel like something that is dragging you down a little bit, or that has still kind of wounded your heart in some way. But it is around this like authority figure with the Hierophant. With the Hierophant can represent a spiritual leader, also a mentor or guide or teacher. This can also represent someone in society, perhaps, like maybe somebody in a bureaucratic setting or someone in a more official setting. Even an academic counselor or someone like that could also be signified by the Hierophant. So you guys kind of get my point. But it feels to me like you're sort of breaking with a path that would have maybe involved this individual or whatever this individual represents to you, but for some reason or another, you're finding that your ideas or your viewpoints are no longer aligned. And so there could be this kind of breaking up that's happening. For some of you, because this is a general reading, this could also be like breaking up with somebody who's just a little bit too strict with you. Maybe like a partner who is overly dogmatic in life, and you're kind of realizing that maybe this person, they're just too strict, or they're too dry about how they do things with the Hierophant, and you're needing more, like more excitement or more passion or more freedom to express yourself. And so I feel like this energy not only is you kind of separating yourself from the situation, but it's also you kind of having clarity about what you really want. And that can be kind of alarming when it doesn't align with a path that you've already been on, that you've already been like maybe investing yourself in, whether it's a path of, like I said before, academics, or a path of career, or even the path that you've walked in a long-term relationship, and you're like, no, this is just too confining for me right now. I need to be able to spread my wings, right? This is too confining. Maybe you appreciate some things about this person or this situation. Maybe there's a lot of values there that you do agree with, but the big ones, or at least a big one, is not coming through. So if that is the case, if that's going on for you right now, Capricorn, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry that you're experiencing that. But I do think that there's hope for you yet. And I think that there is a new adventure that I think that you're kind of encouraging yourself in March to go on. But I think that it is something that you're afraid of seeming selfish about. I think you're afraid of really pursuing something that you genuinely want and wish for, because you don't want to seem like the guy on the Five of Swords. And I want to also point out, maybe this this disappointment, it may not even be the dissolution of a relationship for some of you. It could also just be that you are like standing your ground in a particular relationship, or you are getting space in some way. So I don't want you to just automatically think like, oh, that's I'm not going to break up with this person, so that message can't be for me, or I'm not going to quit my job, this message can't be for me. But it's like something has to change. The situation has to become more flexible, or you just know, Capricorn, like you can kind of, what I get from this reading is that you can kind of sense that the writing is on the wall if something doesn't change. The writing's on the wall if something doesn't change, and you're being brave enough, and I commend you for this, you're being brave enough to just start asking for what you want. Because it's possible that the situation or the relationship or the project or the workplace or whatever, it's possible that if you allow yourself to get some space from it, if you allow yourself to take a step back, get a breather, and, in some situations, if you talk to, the other person involved, you may be able to work something out, and you may be able to meet each other halfway. But I think that you won't really trust in the situation or the person's ability to do that until you've had a little bit of time away from it to gain perspective, okay? The Page of Wands can represent like new creative growth, or travel plans, or doing something unique and exciting that's just for you. And really maybe even studying something new as well, because the pages can represent students. So this is an exciting new, like, passionate journey that you're taking, but at the same time, there's like this cloud over it because you're afraid of seeming selfish, or you feel guilty in some way for pursuing this. So this is something that I hope I'm not being too forward or subjective at all in my interpretations, but I do happen to know and have very deep and close personal relationships with Capricorns. I have tons of people in my family are Capricorns, and I think that it's just really important right now for you that you don't give in to this sternness that you can have for yourself. I want you to be more almost like your own best friend here, Capricorn. I want you to think about the situation and talk to yourself as if you were your best friend. And how would you talk to your best friend if they were going through your situation? Because I think that you would probably be like, you know what, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. It's not that selfish. I mean, it is something that you want to do. It is, self-initiated what you're doing, but it's not selfish in a mean way. It's not selfish in a way that is going to hurt other people unnecessarily. If it does hurt other people, if whatever you're planning on doing does hurt other people, then maybe that's what needs to happen because the situation has become codependent, right? Or because some kind of thing has grown together unhealthily. And so, yeah, maybe your decision will hurt someone's feelings in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to help them grow strong on their own. And so you have to give space for that. Otherwise, they won't do it. So that's kind of what I'm seeing is don't feel bad for being excited about this new path. Okay? The third week of March, I want to just be really clear with you. There could be some uncertain energy. This makes sense to me. In the third week of March, we are going to be going into really profound shifts when it comes to the astrology, mainly Saturn entering Aquarius. He's actually going to retrograde back into your sign before too long, but Saturn will be moving into Aquarius. We also have the Sun moving into Aries, which is, not bad for you, but it is in a square aspect to your sign because you're both cardinal signs, and this is also in your fourth house. Aries is your fourth house, so like home, family, how you nurture yourself. The Sun will be going there, and there's going to be that new moon in your fourth house. So there could be changes going on in the latter portion of March that are maybe a little ungrounding for you. But it's good. It's a new path opening for you when it comes to your home life. It's you, seeing something better, maybe you could be initiating it, something better for you. But I also feel like it's important to say that with these cards, you're going to probably feel like you're a little confused. You can't see the forest through the trees. You're going to be feeling like maybe you don't really want to make any big decisions that week because you need to let yourself adapt to the new energies. And so that's what I want to really say is you don't have to make a decision in the third week. You don't need to, also I feel like even just how you define things in that third week of March is possibly not going to naturally be that positive, but I don't want to say that things aren't going to be going well because I do see a really beautiful opening, happening in your life, especially with that new moon in Aries in your fourth house, and then by the end of the month you have the Ace of Wands, which is a really great natural significating card for kind of like a fiery new beginning, which is what we all have as the Sun moves into Aries and we have that new moon in Aries. We're going to have this sense of a breath of fresh air coming in, really good things on the horizon. We're going to feel a profound sense of growth as well. And so I don't want you to feel, basically what I'm trying to communicate to you, Capricorn, is don't take the energy of the third week of March too seriously. If you can, try and reduce your workload before you get into that week. So maybe come, the middle of March, I want you to have some pizzas in the freezer, maybe some nice pizzas that represent, the type of things you like to eat, maybe something that's still healthy, even though it's maybe frozen or, whatever, have some kind of thing on speed dial, take out on speed dial, have the house cleaned, just do some little things before you get into that third week to really set yourself up so that if you're you get home and you're just thinking, oh, I can't see the forest through the trees, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so tired. When you get home, you can be like, you know what, I'm not making a big dinner tonight. I'm gonna pop a pizza in the oven, I'm gonna chill with my family, or I'm gonna, journal, or I'm gonna listen to music, or I'm gonna just get some space for me. I think that it's really important that you kind of plan ahead, and obviously you don't have to use the examples I'm making, but just whatever you can do so that you have some flexibility in that third week, because I think that the main stress is going to come from you feeling like there's too much going on, first of all, and you can't get a moment to yourself to just try and sort out how you feel about it. And so I don't want you to feel that way, and sometimes just getting a reading like this can give you the ammunition, right? Like forewarned is forearmed, Capricorn. You don't have to suffer if you know that potentially the energies could be going in that direction, and then you just prepare for it. That's all you got to do. Have some Epsom salts and some essential oils, and be ready to have a nice bath for yourself, or be ready to go to the pool or to the jacuzzi, or be ready to, like I said, have some dinner brought in, or make your life easier so you don't have to always be nurturing everybody else. You can actually, take a breather. So that's what I think for that third week. That's really the only thing that I see here that could be disorienting. And then by the end of the month, we have the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So what I get from this is kind of like a stealthy new beginning in your life. The Seven of Swords is kind of like a lone wolf card. He's looking back over his shoulder at the Ace of Wands. So I think that maybe for some of you, you're going to be at the end of March feeling pretty inspired by some kind of change that you are initiating for yourself in your life, or you have a new creative idea that you are sort of keeping under wraps for the moment, but this is real. That's what I want to say, Capricorn, is this is real. Whatever this is, whether it's an inclination, an impulse, an intuitive hit, or a book idea, or a concept that you want to work on for your business, this is real. This is something for you to hang on to. Like, I want to say, like, catch this by the tail if you have to, and hang on to it, because this is coming through as something that can really help you. But I think it's important that you do it kind of in a, I want to say like the word surreptitious way. I don't know if that's the perfect word for this situation, but I want to say like a little bit surreptitiously. Start putting together your research. Start putting together your photos if you're going to be, maybe writing a course or a book, or if you're going to be planning to move. Maybe you're getting out of a bad living situation. That could be something that could be in these cards. For some of you, if you're feeling like your domestic situation is very negative, these cards could be showing you sort of quietly putting the pieces together, going and looking at a new property, setting things up so that you are ready to get out of there, get your ass out of there, Capricorn. You don't have to be somewhere you don't like. And I mean that in every way. If you're in a situation that you don't like, you can definitely get yourself out of it. And I see you kind of feeling that energy of new growth. If that's you, Capricorn, if you are looking to evolve out of a work situation or a home situation or something along those lines, I see you taking a hold of the situation and really seeing some positive growth coming from that. I freaking love this Bob Ross message for you because it really matches everything that I was just saying. So it says, you can do anything you want to do. This is your world. You can do anything you want to do, Capricorn. This is your world. I think it's so perfect given these cards. It's like sometimes you have to take steps and you don't necessarily, broadcast them. And sometimes we take steps and we do. But I think this is one of those situations where you want to, first of all, release guilt for doing what you want to do, right? Because what's the point of life if you're not doing something that feels meaningful for you, Capricorn? What's the deal? What's the deal with that? Why would any of us continue doing something if it doesn't hold a sense of purpose? And obviously sometimes in the short term, we got to do what we got to do to feed ourselves. We got to do what we got to do to, take over and control the practical aspects of life for sure. But this isn't about that. Like, this is about building and feeling the power of spirit, the power of your spirit guiding you towards a situation that allows for so much more growth, towards a situation that allows you to stretch. Spread your wings. I just love this. I think this is a beautiful reading, and I feel like you really can do whatever you want, Capricorn, and you shouldn't feel any guilt about that. You can be compassionate, but You know, remember, you can do anything you want to do, and this is your world. This is your world, Capricorn. So live in it, create it, paint as you go, fly by the seat of your pants if you want to. You are, you know, empowered. You have Mars in your sign this month, so you're going to be empowered. You're going to be able to create things with your ambition, all right? So take care. I hope this reading has been helpful. If you want to leave me a little comment and let me know you're still with me, you can leave me a little goat, for your Capricorn goat. I would love to see that. And also leaving a comment, letting me know your thoughts, or leaving me a little emoji to let me know you're still with me is also super helpful for my channel. It boosts my channel strength in the algorithms whenever you interact with my videos. So if you want to say thank you, but you don't have the ability to donate right now, you can leave a comment, you can give this video a thumbs up, you can share it with a friend. All of those things are really helpful and supportive. You can also subscribe to my channel and sign up for notifications so you'll know every time I post a video. Those things are all super helpful. And if you would like to donate, if you get something useful out of these readings, I'll put the donate link below the video as well. Any amount, even $1, is fantastic and so, so useful because it supports the time and energy that I put into these readings. Thank you for being here, Capricorn. You're amazing. I hope you have an awesome month. Be strong. Go for it. I think this is going to be a really beautiful time for you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.